Let me ask you something. What if I told you that some of what's holding you back isn't even visible? Not your job, not your past, but something watching, influencing, draining you. And what if on January 19th, with just 3 simple herbs and water, you could reset your energy and take your power back instantly? Now stay with me, because whether you believe in spirit, psychology, or just the power of your own mind, you've felt it, haven't you? That heaviness, that stuck feeling, like something's monitoring your life, keeping you small, quiet, reactive. But here's the truth. You don't remove darkness by fighting it. You remove it by becoming bigger than it. And that's what this ritual is really about. Spiritual cleansing through ritual is less about the physical materials involved and more about what happens inside the person performing the act. At its core, a ritual is a structured moment where you pause your normal life, step out of autopilot, and consciously choose to release what no longer serves you. When someone boils herbs and bathes with them, the water becomes a symbol of transition. You enter it carrying stress, fear, emotional residue, and mental noise, and you leave it with a sense of lightness and renewal. The mind responds strongly to symbolism. When you do something slowly, deliberately, and with meaning, your nervous system understands that a shift is taking place. Spiritual cleansing works because humans are not just logical beings. We are emotional and sensory beings. The smell of herbs, the warmth of the water, the quiet moment alone, and the intention you hold all combine to create a powerful internal message. That message is, I am letting go of worry, of old stories, of the feeling that something is following you or weighing you down. Many cultures across history used water rituals because water is naturally associated with washing, rebirth, and starting again. Even today, people feel mentally refreshed after a long shower or bath, not because their problems vanished, but because their mind experienced a reset. Ritual gives form to your intention. Without ritual, intention stays abstract. You think about changing, but you don't feel it. With ritual, your body participates in the change. When you step into the water with purpose, you are training your brain to associate that moment with safety, control, and renewal. This is how emotional states shift, not through arguing with yourself, but through experiencing something that tells your system, I am safe to release this now. Spiritual cleansing also works because it creates a boundary. You are declaring that certain energies, habits, or influences no longer get access to you. Whether someone interprets that as literal spirits or as psychological stress and anxiety, the effect is the same. You are reclaiming authority over your internal world. You are choosing what stays and what goes. That sense of choice is powerful. It moves you from victim mode into ownership mode. When you feel ownership over your energy, you naturally begin to act differently, think differently, and carry yourself differently. Your posture changes, your tone changes, your decisions change. The ritual is not about superstition. It is about creating a moment where you consciously step into a new emotional and mental state and allow your system to register that shift as real. The power of intention is the invisible engine behind any meaningful ritual or practice. Intention is more than just a passing thought or wish. It is a focused commitment that aligns your mind, body, and emotions toward a specific outcome. When you perform a ritual with intention, every movement, every breath, and every sensory detail becomes infused with purpose. Your brain recognizes this alignment and begins to reinforce the beliefs and behaviors that match your declared aim. Without intention, actions can become mechanical and hollow, lacking the psychological and energetic impact necessary to produce real change. When you set a clear intention, you are essentially programming your subconscious mind to recognize and act on opportunities that support that goal. This works because the subconscious does not distinguish between physical reality and the vivid emotional experiences you create through focused thought and action. In practices like bathing with herbs, intention transforms the act from something ordinary into something transformative. You are not just placing herbs in water, you are creating a ritualized container for change. Every step is a deliberate signal to your mind and body that this moment is significant, that you are claiming control over what affects your energy. Intention focuses your awareness, reducing the noise of doubt, distraction, and fear, and it primes your nervous system to notice subtle shifts in emotion, thought, and perception. This is why people often report feeling lighter, calmer, or more empowered after rituals performed with clear intention. They are experiencing the tangible effects of their mind and body aligning toward a specific outcome. Intention also serves as a filter, determining what you accept into your life and what you release. When you hold a strong, unwavering intention, you are creating a boundary that your mind, and often the people and circumstances around you, subconsciously respect. It gives clarity in moments of confusion and resilience in moments of stress, because your actions are guided by a pre-established purpose rather than reaction. Moreover, intention amplifies the effect of sensory and symbolic elements in rituals, such as the warmth of water or the scent of herbs, because your mind interprets them as meaningful tools supporting your declared aim. Over time, this alignment between conscious intention and physical action strengthens your confidence and your ability to shape your internal state and external reality. In essence, intention is the bridge between thought and transformation, turning simple acts into profound experiences that reshape your energy, focus, and sense of self. Timing plays a critical role in rituals, not because the universe follows a literal clock, but because human perception and psychology are deeply influenced by cycles, patterns, and symbolic dates. Choosing a specific day, like January 19th, adds a layer of significance that the mind recognizes, making the act more powerful and intentional. Certain dates carry cultural, seasonal, or personal meaning, which makes people more receptive to transformation and change. When a ritual is performed on a day perceived as special or potent, the mind is primed to experience it as extraordinary rather than ordinary, heightening focus, expectation, and emotional resonance. This is why timing is often emphasized in spiritual practices. It amplifies the impact of an otherwise simple action. The act of selecting a precise day turns the ritual into a milestone, signaling to your subconscious that a shift or reset is not only possible but imminent, creating an internal readiness to release what no longer serves you. Beyond symbolism, timing also helps in creating a structured mental framework. When you know that a particular day is dedicated to a cleansing or protective act, your mind begins to prepare for it in the days leading up to it. You become more conscious of your thoughts, your emotions, and the energy you carry. This anticipatory phase heightens self-awareness and allows you to reflect on what you want to release, what you want to protect, and what you intend to invite into your life. The specificity of the date also prevents dilution of intention. Instead of performing the ritual at random or in moments of distraction, the chosen day anchors your focus and gives the action context, turning it into a full-bodied experience rather than a casual gesture. On a deeper level, timing taps into the human need for cycles and rhythm. Humans are wired to respond to beginnings, endings, and transitional moments. Just as the start of a new year, a birthday, or even a new week carries a sense of possibility, performing a ritual on a defined day signals to your brain and body that change is happening. It creates a psychological marker that separates before and after, allowing the mind to perceive growth and release more clearly. By choosing January 19th, you are aligning the ritual with a specific temporal anchor, which magnifies its emotional and energetic effects. This intentional synchronization of action with time transforms a simple act of bathing with herbs into a moment that feels transformative, meaningful, and deeply aligned with your inner rhythm. Timing is not just a detail, it is what transforms ordinary actions into rituals that resonate and endure. Herbs have been used for centuries across cultures, not just for their physical properties, but for their energetic and symbolic qualities. When we speak of herbs as ancient tools, we are talking about more than just plants. We are talking about substances that carry meaning, intention, and tradition. Different herbs have been associated with protection, clarity, purification, and the amplification of spiritual or mental focus. For example, sage has been used for cleansing spaces, rosemary for clarity and remembrance, and basil for protection and attracting positive energy. These associations did not arise randomly. They were discovered over generations through observation, ritual, and a deep awareness of how natural elements interact with human consciousness. By incorporating these herbs into a ritual, you are connecting to a lineage of knowledge and practice that taps into the same energies that countless people have relied upon to reset, protect, and empower themselves. The physical properties of herbs, such as their scent, color, and texture, also play a significant role in their effectiveness. Aromatic compounds in herbs can alter brain chemistry, affect mood, and evoke deep-seated emotional responses. Smelling a particular herb may trigger relaxation, focus, or alertness, while the visual or tactile experience reinforces the symbolic meaning of the ritual. When herbs are boiled in water for a bath, the combination of scent, warmth, and immersion creates a full sensory experience that reinforces the intention behind the act. The ritual becomes multi-layered. The mind understands the symbolism, the body feels the physical comfort, and the nervous system receives cues that help shift emotional and energetic states. This is why certain herbs have been repeatedly chosen across cultures for specific purposes. They resonate with both the body and the mind in ways that amplify the intended outcome. Herbs also serve as a bridge between the tangible and the intangible. While one might not be able to see negative energy or monitoring spirits, the act of using herbs provides a visible, physical focus for the ritual. This tangible action validates the intention and strengthens belief, which in turn reinforces psychological and emotional shifts. Engaging with the herbs, plucking them, boiling them, immersing oneself in them, creates a rhythm and structure that allows the practitioner to feel a sense of control, release, and renewal. In essence, herbs are not just ingredients, they are tools of transformation that connect mind, body, and spirit. They carry ancestral wisdom, influence sensory perception, and provide a concrete means to channel intention, making rituals more effective, meaningful, and resonant across time. Now, if this resonates with you, do two things. Like this. Share it with someone who's felt stuck lately, because sometimes the message isn't for you alone, it's meant to move through you. When we talk about monitoring spirits, it's important to understand that this concept can be interpreted in multiple ways. On one level, it can be seen as literal, entities or energies that observe and influence our lives without permission. On another, more psychological level, it can represent the internalized voices, fears, anxieties, or external pressures that constantly weigh on us and limit our potential. These watching eyes may not be visible, but their effects are real. They can make us second-guess decisions, feel constantly evaluated, or carry a sense of unease that we can't explain. Recognizing these influences is the first step in reclaiming control, because awareness transforms a vague sense of discomfort into something actionable. When a ritual claims to destroy monitoring spirits, whether literally or symbolically, it is providing a structured way to release those influences, reclaim boundaries, and restore a sense of autonomy. The reason this works is because the human mind and nervous system respond strongly to symbolism. Performing a physical act, such as bathing with herbs, while holding the clear intention of removing observation, fear, or interference, creates a powerful psychosomatic effect. The mind interprets the act as tangible evidence that control is being restored, which reduces anxiety and mental tension. The symbolic nature of the ritual helps separate what belongs to you from what has been imposed externally. Over time, repeating such acts strengthens the mental association between ritual, release, and empowerment, making it easier to resist intrusive thoughts, toxic influences, or the subtle pressures of others. Essentially, the ritual externalizes an internal process, turning abstract fears into something that can be confronted, handled, and released. In addition, the concept of monitoring spirits highlights the importance of personal boundaries. Often, we allow others' expectations, societal pressures, or past trauma to watch us in ways that influence our choices. By framing these pressures as spirits or energy that can be dissolved, the ritual provides a way to consciously assert sovereignty over one's own life. The act becomes a declaration: I am in charge, nothing unseen or external will dictate my energy. This creates a mental and emotional shift that reinforces confidence, focus, and clarity. Ultimately, whether one believes in literal spirits or interprets them as metaphorical forces, the point remains the same. We all carry unseen weights that affect our behavior, emotions, and energy. Rituals designed to destroy monitoring spirits provide a structured, symbolic, and emotionally resonant way to release these influences, reclaim personal power, and step into life with a clearer sense of authority over one's own mind and environment. The idea that you are not powerless is central to any practice or ritual that focuses on reclaiming your energy, setting boundaries, or removing negative influences. Often, people feel trapped in circumstances, emotions, or patterns that seem beyond their control, whether it's fear, external judgment, toxic relationships, or internal doubts. This sense of helplessness can become self-reinforcing, making it harder to take action or believe in the possibility of change. Rituals, such as bathing with specific herbs, serve as a powerful reminder that influence over your life is not entirely external. It begins with conscious choice. By performing a deliberate action with intention, you are demonstrating to yourself in a tangible way that you have the ability to affect your own mental, emotional, and energetic state. Acknowledging that you are not powerless shifts your perspective from one of victimhood to one of agency. When you understand that small, focused actions can produce meaningful change, your nervous system begins to recalibrate. You notice that your thoughts and feelings are not immutable, that you can influence your mood, your focus, and your perception of external events. The ritual itself becomes a tool of empowerment because it externalizes an internal process. You see the water transform with the herbs, you feel it against your skin, and you recognize that you are performing an act with purpose and intention. That physical engagement reinforces the mental message: you have control over your energy, and you can release what does not belong to you. Feeling empowered also changes the way you interact with the world. When you internalize the idea that you are not powerless, you begin to approach challenges differently. You make decisions from a place of strength rather than reaction. You are less susceptible to manipulation, judgment, or fear because you understand that your energy is yours to protect. Even if external circumstances remain challenging, the recognition of your internal authority creates a sense of stability and clarity that allows you to act with confidence. Ultimately, rituals that emphasize personal empowerment are about reclaiming sovereignty over your own life. They remind you that the mind, body, and spirit are interconnected, and that you possess the ability to influence all three through conscious, intentional action. By repeatedly engaging in these practices, you reinforce the understanding that you are capable, resilient, and active in shaping your reality. This shift from feeling powerless to recognizing personal agency is not just symbolic. It creates measurable changes in behavior, thought patterns, and emotional resilience, empowering you to navigate life with greater clarity, confidence, and self-determination. The concept of release versus resistance is central to personal growth, spiritual practices, and the effectiveness of rituals. Often, people approach challenges or negative influences with a mindset of opposition, trying to fight, push away, or control what feels threatening. While resistance may seem like a natural response, it often strengthens the very things you are trying to overcome. When you resist, your attention is focused on what you do not want, feeding its presence in your mind and creating tension in your body. This can manifest as stress, anxiety, or a lingering sense of heaviness that prevents clarity and forward motion. Release, on the other hand, takes a fundamentally different approach. It is not about giving up or surrendering to weakness. It is about recognizing that certain energies, emotions, or influences no longer serve your growth and consciously letting them go. This shift in approach, moving from combat to surrender in the right way, changes the dynamic entirely. When applied to practices like herbal baths or spiritual cleansing, release is a powerful tool. The act of immersing yourself in water infused with herbs symbolizes letting go. The herbs, the warmth of the water, and the ritual itself act as conduits for the mind and body to externalize the release process. By focusing on release rather than resistance, you create a mental and emotional space where old fears, doubts, or intrusive influences can dissolve naturally. Resistance keeps energy locked in, feeding stress and reinforcing patterns of tension. Release allows energy to flow, creating space for renewal, clarity, and empowerment. It signals to the subconscious that what is no longer aligned with your growth does not need to be carried, observed, or fought against. Release versus resistance also teaches a deeper lesson about control and power. Many struggles in life arise from the desire to control outcomes, environments, or other people. By learning to release, you reclaim control over your internal state without trying to control external circumstances. This distinction is crucial because real power comes from managing your energy and choices, not from attempting to dominate what is inherently uncontrollable. Practicing release cultivates calmness, presence, and resilience. It strengthens awareness of what truly belongs to you and what does not, allowing you to act from a place of clarity rather than reactivity. Ultimately, release versus resistance is not a passive process. It is an active choice to prioritize alignment, clarity, and empowerment over struggle. It allows transformation to occur with less friction and greater emotional and energetic efficiency, creating a pathway to freedom that resistance alone can never achieve. By embracing release, you step into a state of self-mastery where your energy is protected, your mind is focused, and your growth is uninterrupted by forces that once held you back. The principle that transformation starts with action emphasizes the essential link between intention and tangible steps. Change rarely happens purely through thought or desire. It requires deliberate effort, repeated practice, and engagement with both the mind and the body. When a person decides to perform a ritual, such as bathing with specific herbs, they are taking a concrete step that embodies their intention. This physical act reinforces the mental commitment and signals to the subconscious that the individual is serious about creating a shift. In psychology, this aligns with the concept of embodied cognition, which suggests that the body and mind influence each other in a continuous loop. By moving through a ritual physically, you reinforce belief and emotional alignment, making transformation more immediate and tangible. Action is also critical because it interrupts old patterns. Many people remain stuck not because they lack insight, but because insight alone does not change behavior. Patterns of thought, emotion, and energy are maintained through repetition, habit, and attention. A deliberate action creates a break in these patterns, offering an opportunity for the nervous system and the mind to register something new. For example, the act of bathing with intention signals the body that it is time to release what no longer serves it. The herbs, the water, and the focus on the ritual create sensory and symbolic cues that the brain associates with transformation. Over time, these cues strengthen neural pathways that support the desired state, such as calmness, clarity, or empowerment. Additionally, action carries the psychological weight of commitment. When you move from thought to behavior, you create evidence for yourself that you are capable of change. This builds confidence and reinforces a sense of agency, making future actions more likely to succeed. The simple act of doing something intentional transforms abstract desires into measurable, experiential results. It also amplifies the effect of any symbolic or ritual element because the mind recognizes the effort as meaningful and aligns emotions, focus, and attention accordingly. Finally, transformation through action creates momentum. Small intentional steps accumulate, reinforcing each other and gradually reshaping mental, emotional, and energetic states. A single ritual may seem symbolic, but its impact is magnified by the conscious choice to act, by the repetition of intention, and by the internal acknowledgement that you are actively shaping your reality. Transformation is not a passive event. It is a process that begins the moment you decide to act with awareness, purpose, and commitment, turning intention into living change. In the end, this practice is about more than herbs, water, or a single day on the calendar. It is about reclaiming your energy, asserting your boundaries, and stepping fully into the life you are meant to lead. Each element, the timing, the intention, the ritual, the release, works together to remind you that transformation is not a distant hope, but a choice you make in the present moment. You are not powerless. You are not defined by what watches, influences, or holds you back. By taking deliberate action, by releasing what no longer serves you, and by embracing the tools and practices that amplify your clarity and focus, You step into a state of sovereignty over your own mind, body, and spirit. This is a reset, a realignment, and a declaration. You are in charge of your energy, your growth, and your life. Nothing unseen, whether fear, doubt, or external influence, can dictate your path when you actively claim your power and act with intention. It is in these conscious, purposeful actions that true transformation begins.